Welcome back to another great adventure with members of the Florida Powerboat Club. This is Stu Jones, and we're joining our members for the 22nd edition of the Miami Boat Show Poker Run, February 2017, on a big event here. We're now rejoining the event on day 3 down in Marathon as we prepare for a fantastic day of boating, which will include some aerial photography sessions from our helicopter, followed by a lunch visit to an area hotspot. Then we're going to wrap things up with a big party on a yacht. And before we take off, let's visit with our sponsors. Minding the fleet, so to speak, here at Faro Blanco, Terry Sobo, the new director of sales for Deep Impact and Blackwater, and it is a big fleet. Yesterday we rode in, Terry, on that big brand new 43 Blackwater, and which is docked right there alongside these 3 Deep Impacts. It's no accident that they're docked together because this is your fleet, so to speak. This is these are the product lines that you're managing, and you've recently moved over from Nortec. You've got more than 20 years experience in the performance marine industry. It was a big move for you. How's it going so far?
Well, it's similar yet different. You know, after I've been doing this for 25 years now, so everything feels kind of the same. But yet, I'm excited about the new products. What we're going to do is we've had Blackwater and Deep Impact under the same roof, but I'm going to differentiate the 2 brands now. So we're going to market those separately instead of as one company.
Sure.
But I'm really excited about the product. Got to spend a lot of time yesterday, obviously, on the new 43 Blackwater. That was its maiden voyage, so to speak, and the boat is really impressive. We could carry a lot of people. It's got a big, heavy, solid ride, and looking forward to getting that out in the market. Conversely, Mark and Eileen came down on the 399 Deep Impact, and boy, what a machine! I'm very impressed with the ride and the handling of that. I've seen him for many years as a guy across the dock and alongside on the poker runs, but to get on it, man, I got to tell you, that's one heck of a good riding boat.
It really is, and certainly performs well. We've had a lot of chance to be in on Deep Impacts a lot, but this 399 I think is a game changer for Deep Impact for that reason. Still has a lot of speed. We used it on the last run. We had actually quad 400s. We were cruising at about 75 to 80 miles per hour, which doesn't necessarily make it a good pace boat when all the other center consoles are going 60 miles per hour. I told everybody yesterday that if you're in a Deep Impact or if you're in any kind of a center console that we called a sport boat, and it was a 65 mile an hour boat. It's now an 85 mile an hour boat. It's time to change the decal from green to yellow. So now we're effectively a performance class boat. And here we are with 3 Deep Impacts. Talk about that 36 over there belonging to Mike Sands.
Yeah, that's a great boat too. I was extremely impressed. I got to take one of those out for the first time just a few weeks ago, and really didn't know what to think about it. Again, I hadn't been on one in probably 12 years since they first came out. But man, what a great riding boat that is too. It's a little heavy. It's got a great solid performance under it, yet it still sees some great speeds with the 400. So I think it's close to 80 miles an hour. So it's pretty exciting.
Before we close off, let's just address the whole situation with the trend towards center consoles. Clearly, 10 or 15 years ago, we would never have seen all this, but here we are now with a marina full of them. How do you see the trend developing, and what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when I took a look at this market, going back to probably 2008, I thought, this is a great practical layout for a performance boat and a performance-oriented crowd. And what I thought at the time was people would buy these as perhaps a second backup boat. But they're so darn nice and practical, and you can put a lot of people on them. You trick them out with LED lights, amazing sound system. But what's good is they were developed to ride offshore, take guys offshore and go fishing and what have you. So for the poker run crowd, it still handles the rough water, but now with these new motors from Mercury, the 350s, 400s, and such, you can get these boats to run what you and I were running 20 years ago as a wide open high performance boat. These center consoles today are capable of cruising in those 60 to 70 mile an hour speeds, so they're all around fantastic.
Not to mention that I know some of them are pulling up to the dock here to pump 93 non-ethanol, while some of them are pulling up to get actually 93, not racing fuel, but from our race fuel provider, VP Fuels. A final comment on that, 90 non-ethanol, no problem. On a 400, you're not going to get 400 horsepower. It's going to detune itself. But you can pretty much go anywhere and get any kind of fuel.
Yeah, the Mercury 400 is designed to run on at least 91 octane. However, unlike the old racing motor, you can run less octane in it, and it's going to detune, it's going to retard it. You won't get the 400 horsepower if you don't have the true 91 octane. But the 90 rec, and according to Mercury, that's just fine, and they don't see any real performance loss in it. So if you got 90 rec, you're good to go. The 350, you can run 89, so you're good on anything with that.
Well, good luck, Terry. You're going to have two sets of two outfits outfits now. You're going to have a deep impact and a blackwater, so you're going to have a different 2 sets of hats. But good luck with it, and welcome to the family.
Thanks again. Always good to be here.
Of course, we would be remiss, and our viewers would be very upset if we didn't take time to showcase our lovely ladies. We had Whitney as well as Brandy joining us as our new girls of FPC on the Miami Boat Show Poker Run, and they were more than happy to get out their newest bikinis, get down at the marina and jump on some of these high-performance boats. And Jerry and David took some time to do this little beauty sequence, and I'm sure that everyone would agree that having Whitney and Brandy on their first Florida Powerboat Club was a welcome addition to this event format.
We made some new boating friends this weekend for the Miami Boat Show Poker Run. Seth and Prudence Leverance up from Boca Raton, and they joined us for the run. It was all part of a big charity gig when we were at the Bikers Bash back in December. Now, the Bikers Bash is sponsored by, or the beneficiary is, the Boys and Girls Club. What they did was they accepted our auction item, and that was a weekend with the Florida Powerboat Club. What did you guys pay, about $1,500 for that?
Yeah, it was just about there.
Yeah. So for $1,500, they got to go on a Florida Powerboat Club event, and there's the boat they joined us on, that brand new Blackwater 43. They wanted to find out what it was like to be on a poker run, and here they are at Ferro Blanco, and they can hear it right now. A lot of horsepower going on right now as the boats are staging for the run today. They're getting fueled up with some of that big race fuel. You can hear those high-performance engines. Now, that's not the kind of boat we put you on yesterday, Seth, but it wasn't too shabby, right?
It definitely wasn't. It exceeded our expectations throughout the day. Just putting the hammer down and going was phenomenal. I would recommend it to anybody out there.
It really was a great day, and Prudence, I don't know if you knew what you were getting into, but all I know is that you got your queen seat up on the front of that Blackwater yesterday. We weren't even out of Grove Harbor, and there you were sitting out there like a queen saying, I think this is where I'm going to stay, and that's pretty much where you sat all day, right?
Definitely. I was queen for the day and hope to be queen for the rest of the weekend.
Well, so far so good. Now today, we're going to do it all again, but this time we're going to go for a ride right through that 7-mile bridge. The helicopter is going to go up and follow us right through, so we're going to get the money shot for you guys and give you a nice big shot to blow up for the wall at home. So the kids are at home, you guys are, mom and dad are out playing with the club, and we're all having a great weekend here with the Florida Powerboat Club.
It's getting warm, and it's time to get out and play as Joe gets the drone up in the air and all of our teams get on board and start firing up the boats for a fun day on the water. I get my chance to ride today on that Nortec 450 center console, and altogether there are about 60 boats attending the Florida Powerboat Club event, and I'd say about half of them are going to be out here for the fun run today, and that means the helicopter's going to be flying high and chasing everybody down for some great shots. Whitney and Brandy had a little wardrobe change and showing off their newest suits, and I know they're going to be a big part of the show today. There's a fantastic shot of the Ferro Blanco Resort, and today the drone is going to shine because the winds are light, and the drone is going to get a lot of coverage of our teams as they get ready here dockside for the fun run here in Bay Waters. And we just could not ask for better conditions than we have here today as Bobby Keeber gets his cigarette up on plane. The seas are calm, the winds are light, the color of the water is absolutely fantastic and is going to make for some great aerial photo and video today. Now, just to get the boats aired out and get some speed, we're going to head south first, all the way down towards the Bahia Honda State Park. It's about a 14-mile run down to Bahia Honda from Marathon. We're going to do that on the bay side, then cross over offshore. Then we'll cross back to the Bay Waters through the Bahia Honda Bridge and head up to the north end of Marathon for our lunch destination. Now we're catching up with Bobby Keeber in his 1994 35 cigarette Cafe Racer, 700 horsepower aside, Tyler Crockett racing engines, and indeed Bobby is a former racer, but he hung up the racing uniform. He decided to come out and play and do some poker runs now, and he says he's having a fantastic time. Congratulations to Bobby and Lynn. Last night they won third place in the poker run for their first full poker run event with the Florida Powerboat Club. And another little piece of trivia about Bobby and Lynn. Unlike others who come thousands of miles to attend these events, they live right here in the Florida Keys in Big Pine Key, just about 20 miles away from where we're boating this very second. Here's another couple who just love poker runs. This is Joe and Christine Amoroso, all the way from New York, in their 39-foot outer limits called Team Bada Bing. A great boat for doing poker runs. They've enjoyed it. Joe says it's time for a new one, though. He's got something coming down the pipeline. I believe it's a new Outer Limits. Not sure exactly what it is, but I know this one's for sale, and I can't wait to see their new boat. Now we're catching up with Mike Chisuli from New Jersey, and look at that rooster tail coming off those big number 8 drives. 1350s here in this 388 skater called Team Maxon Auto Group. Mike's a car dealer from New Jersey, and he's a very busy guy most of the time, but I'll tell you what, he makes his effort to be at all these poker runs. In fact, I don't think anyone's had a better track record than Mike, being on at least 4 or 5 Florida Powerboat Club events in a row, and this boat is always looking great and running fantastic. This incredible rooster tail coming from those Mercury Racing 1350s, pushing this boat to well over 170 miles per hour. And there's no doubt that these are the most ideal conditions for some high-speed fun in these big offshore catamarans. Look off in the distance, that is the 7-mile bridge that Mike's closing in on. We're going to go out through the spans of the 7-mile bridge and head offshore for a little ride down towards Bahia Honda Park. One very special point I'd like to bring up is that although he is not there in the cockpit, he's certainly there in spirit. We lost our good friend Tom Healy from New Jersey back just 2 months earlier before this run. He maintained this boat impeccably, was always there with Mike. He was always one of the hardest working guys in the industry. He took care of so many of us. And Tommy, we truly will miss you, and I'm glad that you're at least here with us in spirit today. Now we're getting a closer look at this incredible Nortec 450 center console, the boat that I got a chance to ride on all the way down on Thursday, and now I'm getting a chance to ride again. Shows here in the byline that Tron Scow and Tom Mason are on board. Actually, Tron has gone home for the weekend to go spend time with his wife and his little child. Tommy Mason Jr. at the helm, taking care of us all weekend long, giving us a great ride, and really, truly showing the performance of this incredible 45 Nortec center console, powered by 5 Mercury 400R Verados. Just taking it easy today as we enjoy this beautiful water. And I still look at these images and I wonder, how could it possibly be in the middle of February that we have such warm temperatures so the girls can wear their bikinis, and these incredibly light winds that give calm seas. And guys, I cannot say or remember when we had such incredible weather in the middle of February. But this is why we come to the Florida Keys, and this is why these events are just so fantastic year after year. Continuing our coverage with these incredible, beautiful center consoles. This one of the flagships of the Midnight Express fleet. This is the 43. It's owned by new club member Conrad Peralta, who's here all the way from Argentina, once again making this such an international event, as it always has been. This one powered by 4 Mercury 400R Verados, and I did get a chance to ride alongside the boat. We were in the Nortec, running along at about 65, 70 miles per hour, and along came this 43 Midnight, and Conrad was ready for some fun, so he jammed the throttles forward. These Mercury Verado 400Rs are a big hit with the center console crowd. Let's talk to Scott Ryko and find out why.
Scott Ryko is kind of a household name around the Mercury family when it comes to propellers, and it doesn't matter what kind of horsepower you have up here, how you push it down there really, really matters. So having Scott, who's the manager of Mercury Propellers, to talk about this new CNC propeller that's built specifically for a Mercury 400R. Scott, it's shiny, it's pointy. You just took the propeller guards off because it's sharp enough to shave with. So I've never seen a propeller like that on an outboard before. What do we got going on here?
Well, since we came out with the 400R, that's really a game changer in the outboard industry. So for propellers, in my world, eat, sleep, and breathe propellers, I just love it. So it offers me an opportunity to try different things. So one of the ideas was, why don't we take our big CNC cleavers that we use on our 6 and M8 drive and transfer it onto the 400R. So basically, it's a cut-down version of our big 6-drive propellers.
You basically have to look at each boat, each application, and really do the specs and get it on the drawing board and really design that prop.
It's all, how fun is that?
Well, for you, apparently, it's fun because without guys like you, we wouldn't have the ability to enjoy the performance of these boats. Yeah. Like I said, you can build them big and powerful with all gobs of torque and gobs of horsepower. Right. If you can't deliver all that horsepower to the water and make it push that boat, then what are we working at? You know, what are we trying for?
Right. Like when we first started testing with Tony at DCB, you know, we went to the old tried and true 4-blade Bravo 1. Sure. We got some great speeds out of it. But then I developed a prop called the Max 5.
Yep.
We went from, like, say, 94 miles an hour. We picked up 5-6 miles an hour going to the Max 5.
Sure.
Now we put on the CNC cleaver. We picked up 7 miles an hour over the Max 5. It's huge.
You're going to spend some money, but you're going to get a result. Now it's available, and you've got Mercury Racing to back the product, a quality product that you know you're going to get handcrafted perfection.
Yep.
Back with our Miami Boat Show Poker Run Saturday fun run as we catch up with Pierre and Megan Brosseau all the way from Canada with their 40-foot Nortec Roadster powered by Mercury Racing 1350s, and this is one incredible hot rod. Raymond Roberts from R Performance in Ontario joined Pierre at the helm today, and they have one mission in their mind today, and that's to go very fast. Thanks to the guys for taking Seth and Prudence Leverance for a ride on this great machine. Yes, indeed, we are going to see a lot of high-performance catamarans on the water today because this is ideal conditions for any kind of big, fast cat, and everyone has just got the throttles pushed forward for some fun. Chris and Quinn Lamort, all the way from New Jersey. This is a 36-foot skater. They've got about 700 horsepower aside. Nice, comfortable cruise now at about 85 miles per hour. Let's hope they don't go too much faster because our helicopter would not be able to keep up. I'd like all of the FPC members to join me in welcoming Chris and Quinn for their very first Florida Powerboat Club Poker Run event. The really funny part about this shot is that after we shot with the helicopter, they kept right on going all the way to Key West and had lunch, making this a very memorable weekend for them here with the Florida Powerboat Club. Robert Lockyer is going to love this shot because I don't think he planned for the helicopter to follow him right through the 7-mile bridge. Here he is in the Moser Channel, cruising in his 32-foot skater, powered by brand new Mercury 400Rs. There he is, going right underneath that big span of the 7-mile bridge. And Robert, if that's not the money shot, I don't know what is. This 32 skater is a very popular boat with the Florida Powerboat Club, and one of many that realized these conditions really couldn't get much better. And I know that Robert just kept that boat pointed to Key West all the way down there for lunch today before he turned around and came back up. So at about 50 miles each way, I'm glad that Robert and several other members with the club recognized just how great these conditions were and made the very best of their weekend here in the Florida Keys. Now we're catching up with Benny D'Angelo in his 38-foot cigarette Top Gun powered by Mercury Racing 525s, an ideal poker run platform. You can bring all your friends. They're a long way from home, all the way from Montreal, Canada, and I know that Benny really enjoys these winter weekends, and imagine how cold it does back up in Canada, so it's a great escape for him and his friends to come down here, jump on the boat, and really have a fantastic Florida Keys weekend with the members of the Florida Powerboat Club. I've been on this boat before. It runs great. I love the looks. I love the red and the silver graphics of this 38 Top Gun, and it always runs great. Just look at this amazing rooster tail coming off this 44 Outer Limits, the sleeper, as we call it, David Spear from Texas, a 44 Outer Limits with some big monster motors, Chief engines, about 1,700 horsepower aside, last time I was told. And they are big, loud, monster blower motors with gobs of horsepower that will keep this boat cruising well over 100 miles per hour consistently. But you gotta love that rooster tail pushed out by those big number 6 drives. And David looks like he's got the boat on cruise control headed for Key West. We caught up with Outer Limits Powerboats at the Miami show just a week earlier. Let's see what they had new in their 2017 lineup.
Talk of the town, this new Outer Limits 41 SL outboard. Dan Kleitz from Outer Limits. A big show here to be at the Mercury Racing in water because they wanted to have this 400 boat here, no doubt. And what a great place to show the boat. It's beautiful.
Thank you. No, we're super excited to debut this new model here, especially partner up again with Mercury Racing this year. They're obviously great to work with, and we do a lot of business together. So it was a natural fit to bring the boat down and showcase it with them in their display, showing off 3 of their 400R Verados.
Something that's unique about this boat is not only that it's unique in styling and it's the first time an outboard boat like this has been built by Outer Limits, but tell us about the owner who's going to receive this boat and what's different about that situation?
Yeah, no, the owner is actually a repeat customer. Great guy. He had one of our 46 outer limits before and sold that. And he is actually handicapped. He is actually wheelchair bound, and he does not let that stop him in doing anything. He'll jump right in this boat, and he'll go boat around all day long, and he's got custom stuff set up at his house and special paths made so he can get in, and he absolutely just loves high performance boating.
Dan, talking to you last night about the boat, you know, very unique in the way you came up with it. Wow, what a giant cockpit. Those outboards really do make a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. But let's talk about the power and what performance you get out of this boat with that power.
Yeah, so far, we just finished up the boat right before the show, so we only had a few test runs back up in Bristol, Rhode Island. It was a little cold, so far we got 105 out of it so far, which is, you know, we're really happy with that. And we're working with Mercury on some props right now to hopefully get another 2-3 miles an hour out of it.
Okay, so 105 miles an hour, safe, reliable, 400 Rs, seating for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 comfortably. You're talking about a poker run boat now that you have enough room to bring all your friends. You don't have to leave anybody on the dock, and a full cabin down below. Let me ask this about the boat with the cabin and everything. Is this something that you could set up with a generator and have an air-conditioned cabin as well?
Yeah, no, if someone wanted that, we could definitely do, you know, shore power or dockside AC. I mean, we could do a small generator. We have a nice big storage unit back here. Right. You know, where kind of the old inboard engine bilge is, and it's got all your fender holders and all your batteries and stuff, and trim pumps located back there. So there's plenty of room to do a lot of options on this boat. And, you know, we were able to get a lot of cockpit space, like you said, and you throw a lot of people in it, lots of, you know, Mercury's telling me thousands of hours of, you know, trouble-free maintenance with these engines, which is incredible.
It really is. What a great package. Nice to see it. A lot of forward thinking from Outer Limits, and good to see you guys putting out some new product here and being down here at the Miami show.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Stu. We appreciate it, and hopefully we get a couple more of these built and be on some of the club events.
Returning now to our event format with members of the Florida Powerboat Club on the Saturday Fun Run here on the Miami Boat Show Poker Run. Dueling Chris's, I guess you could say, on the left, Chris Lamort, and on the right, Chris Ryder in his 368 skater. And this one has some big power, twin Smith 1000s, making crisis management a real hot rod, probably capable of speeds well over 140 to 150 miles per hour. But Chris is just chilling out right now. He's a seasoned veteran with these cats. He owned a 32 skater for quite some time and enjoyed a lot of runs with the club, but now he's really, really digging this new 368. And what a great looking boat. I love the graphics. And just a little more playtime here with Team Central Time Zone, the 40-foot Nortec Roadster. And I'd like to thank Raymond and Pierre for giving rides to not only one, but two couples who were down here with the Boys and Girls Club who came for a wild experience, and hey, these guys delivered. More and more center consoles showing up on these poker runs, and we love them. And the reason is that you can just bring all your friends. There's no limit to how many people you can bring. They run on reliable outboard power. Typically the Mercury 350 or 400 VERADO is the power of choice. As we get another money shot here going through the 7-mile bridge with this Midnight Express front running. Not sure which team this is because as we close in, I don't see a decal displayed. But it is a triple engine Midnight Express. I think they just happen to be in the right place at the right time. Now we're catching up with Brett Menier from Performance Boat Center. Big supporters of poker runs all over the country and been very active with the Florida Powerboat Club in recent years. Showcasing on this event this Cigarette 41 GTR center console powered by Quad Mercury 400Rs. You can see what a great platform it is, a very beamy boat, room for at least a dozen or 15 people to sit comfortably and enjoy this amazing day on the Florida waterways. And it's time for more cat play as we catch up with Chris and Angela Bradley from Texas in this 40-foot skater. We call it Rainmaker, sorta, and the reason for that is that they are building a 388 skater. It's up at the factory, and they're calling it Rainmaker. So this apparently is their interim boat. It's the boat that they brought down to Key West earlier, and I know that they're using it for a couple more runs until they get their brand new 388 skater, which is going to be an amazing ride. But I don't know, I think this one here is pretty cool as they clearly have it dialed in nicely, cruising at about 100 mph, enjoying the perfect conditions today as they head for Key West. Continuing our feature coverage of the Miami Boat Show Poker Run as we now catch up with Don House and his lovely lady Jennifer on their 36-foot Gladiator called Team House Party. And I gotta love that rooster tail as they head offshore here and push the throttles up. 36-foot Gladiator is one of the few cigarettes that are a sit-down model. They built a few of these over about 5 or 6 years. Haven't seen any more built in more recent years, but there's still a few kicking around, and they seem to be enjoying this one, having attended several poker runs with this Gladiator. We caught up with cigarette owner Skip Braver at the Miami show. Here's what he had to say about some new models from Cigarette.
Skip Braver once again putting on a great display here at Cigarette Racing at the Miami Boat Show. Right in the middle, smack in the middle of the show, the biggest display, the biggest tent, the only guy that puts a car on the dock. Once again, you've outdone yourself, Skip, with this display, without a doubt.
Thanks a lot, Stu. Team works very, very hard to put it together. This is our big push a year. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. And we get to display new stuff like the GTO. Well, this is a 42. We did a whole new deck,
Right.
all new tooling.
Okay.
And we made it a walk-around. But as we're going to go through it, not only is it a walk-around, but the cabin is more functional for a day boater. This is a boat that was a little bit lighter,
Yep.
okay, that we're marketing a lot different, you know?
Yep.
There's a few more options, but not a lot more options.
Right.
But it is a full standard boat. With the 400s, the first time over, Bud hasn't done anything with the props, anything else, is 76 miles an hour.
Not bad at all,
So,
not bad.
And it's, like you said, it's a big boat, but it drives like a smaller boat. We've done some different thing with the stringers, other little secret sauces to make the boat even better.
Of course, everybody wants to know what's going on with the AMG program. You spent a lot of time with your friends at Mercedes AMG designing new trendy boats, new concept boats. There's a brand new Mercedes AMG right there, the green one in your booth. What is that car, and how does that relate to your promotion you did with this new 50?
Okay, I'm glad you asked me these questions. Some of the technology and the ways that we've lightened this up was from working with the composites people at AMG.
Right.
Okay, that boat is 1,200 pounds less than the boat that was in Monaco, but it still has the cigarette ride.
Right.
It's easy for people to make lighter, you're going to go faster.
Right.
Our idea is better, in the cigarette ride and the cigarette difference.
Right. You told me at the cigarette factory about 2 weeks ago, you said, Stu, there's going to be a lot of Mercury 400Rs hanging on the back of our boats at the show. And I'm counting them. There's four, and there's more over there. That program is just so stellar. Has it not been for you?
It's been great. Mercury is no secret that that's what we put on our boats. The service, the supply chain, everything about them, the technology is Mercury Racing and Mercury Motors is what made us successful with the center console boats and performance boats.
Back with our run, and please join me in welcoming Sal Olivia from New York on his very first poker run in Florida in this cigarette 42-foot X called Team Escape from New York, appropriately named. Sal is an avid boater, though. He's owned 10 other boats over the last 20 years, but somehow he finally found his way to Florida with the members of the Florida Powerboat Club, and he really loved the event, especially running through the blue waters and the mangroves and seeing all the beautiful sights as they cruised through the Florida Keys. Well, the boat looks brand new, but it's a 2007 model, very well maintained, powered by Mercury Racing 700 SCIs, making it the ideal poker run platform with speeds capable of just over 100 miles an hour and a unique paint scheme which makes it one of a kind. And one of our featured sponsors on this Miami Boat Show poker run, Team Predator, and unique from so many other builders for a number of reasons. First of all, that they came all the way from Norway with this boat, completely built and rigged in Norway, brought the boat over last fall just in time for the Key West Offshore Poker Run, and I'm glad they could join us now for their second event with the Florida Powerboat Club. Now, the only thing that's changed this time is the ownership. This 44-foot high-performance B-bottom is proudly owned by George Takula from Finland, who is now enjoying the ride today with his family and his industry colleagues, including Andre Bakkegard, the boat's builder from Norway. We got a chance to catch up with them at the docks at the Ferro Blanco. Here's what they had to say about this newest high-performance V-bottom on the offshore powerboating circuit.
We've got the whole Predator crew here on the dock at Faro Blanco, and the reason I've got all my buddies here is because there's a lot to be said about this cool new 44 that came all the way from Norway. It all started with the creator of that boat, Andre Bakkegaard, who's been with us before on the Key West Poker Run. He showed up on the scene last year with a 35, a very cool looking boat, a silver with an open cockpit. And but then Andre, you trumped yourself. You showed up this year, or this past Key West, with a 44, the boat we have here behind us. What made you decide to build such an awesome machine?
Well, it started way time ago. It's just being passionate about the powerboats, and I went to this club and to the Key West Poker Run when I was pretty young, with at that time with Nortec and Tromsø.
Yes.
So well, it just started, and then I just wanted to come back here myself with my own boats, you know. That was
well. So it's good to hear that it actually started here. At least that's what got you thinking about it, and then you went back home and in the true Norwegian spirit. A very entrepreneurial spirit, I must add. You built yourself a beautiful ride, and I know the guys amongst in the industry, your peers, are saying good things. So that when your peers are telling me that you built an incredible boat, that's a good thing to hear. George over here, George Stukula, he's a fountain owner that decided that he wanted to have his hands on that Predator. So our Finnish member, who came also to the Key West Poker Run a few years back, is now excited about owning this beautiful ride. George, what made you decide the Predator was the one for you?
Well, I saw the boat. I saw the build quality is just unbelievable. There are a lot of interesting details. Andre has done an incredible job with the boat, and I just fell in love with it. That's all I can say.
Well, that's great, and I'm just glad that we're all here together in the Florida Keys, sharing in that passion and enjoying the Miami Boat Show Poker Run. And this brings it together, and I think that if you have a great boat, Andre, you decided you need to have a good representative here in the United States. Well, nobody better than Ben Robertson, who I've known for more than 20 years. Ben, you've been involved in powerboat racing. You're a performance enthusiast, and you've made it your trade, too. So this fits in well with your lifestyle.
Well, yes, it does. Andre builds an incredible boat, and ironically, we met about 6 years ago when I was at the Class 1 races in Arendelle. Had his 35, took it for a ride, and kind of lost touch with each other up till last month or so. Saw him at the Poker Run in Key West. Then George said, Ben, you need to come down and look at this boat. So I flew down to Pompano. We all met, and I've been in a lot of boats too. I've never been in one this detailed, this finished, with enough vision. And it's a different kind of performance boat. It's not just a hot rod boat. It's got all the luxury, all the fit and finish, and room, and a cabin that's actually usable, which is rare in a performance boat. But the workmanship is beyond anything I've ever been in. And I've been in a lot of boats, but Andre just did a great job. So we got along fine and decided to put a deal together. I'll end up with the sales and marketing program for worldwide for Predator powerboats. We're working on some new center consoles. We got a full line of boats that we're working on. We've got 5 boats right now, 5 boats that are actually in process, and that's the center console stern drives, the center console outboards, and the Sport Boat 35, which he introduced here a couple of years ago. But anyway, it's going to be a great venture, a great partnership, and Andre is young, and he's got incredible future in front of this guy. So we're looking for a lot of good results from Predator.
I'm excited too, and again, Ben, yes, I'm glad you mentioned the 35 because I really like that boat too. It's got a great layup, and it's just a sporty looking boat. It looks like it's going 90 miles an hour just sitting at the dock. So glad to see the innovation. Nice to see new blood in our sport. So gentlemen, all of you, congratulations on your partnership, and we hope to see all of you a lot more on our Florida Powerboat Club events. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Back with our Florida Powerboat Club members here on the Saturday Fun Run in the Middle Keys. And with all this hard work and excitement, I don't know about you guys, but I'm working up an appetite, and there's no better way to satisfy that appetite than with some fine, fresh Florida Keys seafood. And no better place than the Island Fish Company in Marathon, and it's easy to get there by boat. Sure, there's a lot of great restaurants in Marathon, but not very many that have this amount of dockage. We could fit easily 25 to 30 boats here on one lunch stop, so that's what we're planning to do today. There's the Predator on the left and that Nortec 450 center console on the right, and we hung around the docks and just kind of waited for everybody to slowly wander in and get situated. There's a great shot of that Nortec with the 5 400Rs. Of course, there's never a big hurry to come off the docks because everybody comes out to the docks to see the boats, and there's a lot of questions, and the cameras come out, and yeah, even Brandy's got her camera out today. So we hung around the boats for a little while and got settled in until everybody gathered up here where we could wander in and enjoy this fantastic menu. We've been visiting this restaurant for several years, but it is certainly one of the best stopovers. And if you don't believe me, why don't you ask Brandy and Whitney, because they seem to be having just a fantastic time. Taking advantage of the moment with the fantastic weather, and not to mention a couple of beautiful ladies, it was time to get the cameras out and do another quick unplanned photo session here aboard the Nortec 45 center console. Also want to mention that we got some great drone shots thanks to our videographer Joe, who's a drone expert. And this is not an amateur sport anymore, guys. We had other drones visit us on this event. We did have one incident that involved a drone crashing into the yacht and falling into a boat. And this almost created a situation that could have been dangerous to some of our participants. Nobody got hit, but there was damage to a boat. So we have asked all of our club members to leave the drones at home when you're on these events, or at least in crowded areas. Do not fly in crowded areas, and do not fly over top of other participants or boats, because if you do have an incident, it could be very costly for you. Wrapping things up here now at the Island Fish Company. We don't have very far to go, only about a half a mile. Some of the boats barely got on plane, but we are rendezvousing with Bob Berg and his yacht called The Program. It's a 97-foot Hargrave, and Bob has volunteered to make this the mothership for our raft-up party today. We couldn't have had better conditions to do so, and we want to thank Bob and all of the lovely ladies on the program for rolling out the red carpet, and a warm welcome really to all of our club members for this big raft up. We don't do it very often, but this one was certainly very, very successful, as you're about to see. Live entertainment on board the program. Everybody had their lines and fenders ready, and we rafted up about 25 or 30 boats here out in the bay waters. And it really was a great way to wrap up a perfect day of boating here in the Florida Keys with members of the Florida Powerboat Club. And alas, here we are with our big raft up in paradise, thanks to Bob Berg and the yacht program, the 97-foot Hargrave with a big flybridge, hot tub, room for all of our friends, and really a warm welcome from Bob and his crew on the program, as he allowed a lot of our club members to climb on board and enjoy the day. But obviously it was a good thing that all of the club members were not there, because we had about 65 boats registered for the run. But I believe about half of them have already gone to Key West for the day. That left about 30-some-odd boats here for the raft-up party. But you can see that Ray Akey said, you know what, let's just have the party on board my Deep Impact. So he's got the tunes cranked on his 39 Deep Impact, and everybody just having a fantastic time. We got some amazing visuals from our drone camera today as we circle around the pack and really just show how much fun everybody's having. I also used my iPhone and got this shot. It's on Instagram. I post at Stu FPC. We've already had over 40,000 views of this camera clip that I shot with my iPhone. And you can see why it got a lot of views. It's kind of a neat shot, shows everybody having fun, shows the variety of boats, and really just what beautiful weather we're having here in the middle of February. If you also want to follow more of these videos, our viewers out there, we'd like to have more of you subscribing to our channel, Florida Powerboat Club. Stu Jones. So if you can subscribe, we've got lots more videos coming. This is a wrap-up now of part 3 of our coverage of the Miami Boat Show Poker Run 2017. Plenty more great videos to come just around the corner. We've got the Tampa Bay Poker Run and the Fort Myers Poker Run with many more. Enjoying life here in the Florida Keys with members of the Florida Powerboat Club. We hope you enjoyed our feature coverage of the Miami Boat Show Poker Run 2017. This is Stu Jones. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure with members of the Florida Powerboat Club. Bye for now.